Welcome to another repaint video of mine. I'm Hannah from Hoodles, and I'll admit that after Instagram bored me with their new algorithm, I started playing Candy Crush. So I had to make a Candy Crush doll, and here is the process. I started with an Ever After High Briar beauty doll, probably from the Getting First edition. She didn't come in her original clothes and accessories, but she wasn't in a pretty good condition. I had to fix her arms though, because they were a little bit loose at the joints. Forgot to record the process for that, but I will do the same thing on my big Halloween doll, so there is no rush. I chose to use an Ever After High doll since they have these round flat faces, making her perfect for the modern planning. I'm saying right now, things might turn rather weird and the process for her is pretty ugly, but the end project turned out cool. Anyway, first, I cut off the hair and then scrape the hair out of the plugs with a flat screwdriver. Then I cut the scalp open to take the hair out. After that, I clean the paint off with pure acetone. Buying acetone in small quantities from beauty stores is quite expensive. So I buy like a liter from the hardware store and refill this smaller bottle. Much cheaper. She's ready for some plastic surgery. I used the same method as when I made my geode doll, cutting out parts of the face and filling it in with Apoxie Clay. Hopefully this doesn't hurt to watch. I should have changed the blade to a fresh one though, it would have made it much neater. I mix the epoxy clay by bending in the edges until the clay is a homogeneous color. Then I try to sculpt it the same way I did my geode, but the clay just smooshed into the head, so I filled the head with some tinfoil. It worked really well. When I tried to get it all out, some of it stayed inside the skull, but that's okay, it didn't affect the movement at all. To get the clay smoother, I use a bit of water on the silicone sculpting tool. And there we go! Time to make some tiny miniature candy out of polymer clay. There are 6 types of candy and I started with the yellow lemon drops. Relatively simple to make, basically squished drops. Oh, we need to see that in reverse. So satisfying. Anyway, I made a lot of them. Then there were the red jelly beans, the blue lollipop heads, the green gum squares, the orange tablets and the purple jujube clusters. Teeny tiny candy, now I want to eat lemon drops. I wasn't happy with the purple ones, so I made a second try with the help of some liquid Fimo. It was harder to make, but so worth the time. Time to sparkle things up, and I can still find glitter in the most unlikely of places after this project. I think this step was a little bit unnecessary in the end though. I covered it all with candy so it didn't show that much at all. She looks a bit blank at the moment, but she is far from finished, so let's do her face up. I start by shading the candy with some pastels to give it some more depth, then I proceed like usual with outlining the eyes, drawing the irises and working on blushing. Initially I wanted to make Tiffy a character from Candy Crush, hence the blue eyes, but I deviated from the plan and she turned into an original character. I don't mind though. I read somewhere that you shouldn't draw the pupils completely black, so this time I'm using a dark brown for that, and I loved the outcome. The second layer, and as you can see the face looks a bit shiny. It was pouring outside and I guess it messed with the sealant. It was still okay to draw on though. Time for some acrylics. I used the Army Painter, this time matte white and pure red. I paint some shiny white parts on the candy. Doing the last white highlighting with acrylics is one of my favorite parts of doing the face up. It really takes it to another level. Now the face up is done, but it needs some gloss. I finally gone and bought myself Tamiya gloss, and it works so much better than Liquitex on the vinyl. Liquitex tends to turn sticky with time, but only on the vinyl. So I don't know if it has to do with the material underneath, probably. Anyway, I'll stick to Tamiya from now on when painting dolls. And now she's finished. I like her face up, but now she needs some hair. I didn't record the full process because the yellow yarn I used in the back arrived late. But as usual, I play around with yarn wefts, this time in matching saturated colors as the candy. It has been a while since I rerouted a doll head, and since I'm waiting for an appointment to see if my wrist needs surgery, it will probably take longer. It sounds worse than it is. I have a ganglion that needs to bug off. Anyway. This yarn I got from Black Space Dolls when we participated in a swap held by Retro Dolls like a year ago. Feels like ages ago, and the yarn is perfect for this project. Thank you so much, Jacob. If you combine 4 candies in Candy Crush, you get a striped booster, and I wanted to give my warriors some, so I hand painted some leftover candy and coated them with Tamiya. It would have been cooler if I could have made them directly from polymer clay, but this is what I had. Then I put them in a little bottle. It's so small and cute. I wanted to give her a weapon and thought of a scythe, but I decided to combine the color bomb and make a weapon called a morning star. To quote Wikipedia, a morning star is any of several medieval club-like weapons consisting of a shaft with an attached ball adorned with 1 or more spikes. So instead of sprinkles, it will get spikes. I made a base out of a wooden dowel and some tin foil, then I covered it all with control cast. After the control cast had cured for 24 hours, it was ready for the sanding. I attached the wooden dowel to my screwdriver. For this part, I wore a mask where the activated carbon had lost its effect, but it filters the particles. And I can work in it comfortably, so I still use it. Then it's just to sand away. After sanding, I painted a layer of burnt umber. The spikes are made out of polymer clay. I drew 2 lines on a piece of parchment paper to get the right length of them all. Then I drilled holes in the candy. I could have just attached them directly to it, but this way the spikes won't be as prone to break off. And then glue them into the holes with my glue gun. Then I covered the dowel with a pink ribbon. I wanted it to look like it's melting, so I added some dripping effects with my glue gun and then painted it with burnt umber again. I had a spare crystal from making frostlass and decided to put it at the Morningstar's end, so I drilled a hole into it and then carved the end of the dowel. Then I just glued some candy onto it and voila, a Candy Crush morning star. I bought Moonlight Jewel's sewing book for dolls, and honestly it's the best patterns and instructions I've ever purchased for the dolls. I made some alternations of my own, but the base is the cute Lolita dress. I mean, look at this, it's so cute! I decided to paint candies on the top ruffle, first some base colors and then some white highlights. It didn't look very interesting, so I added some glitter. Again, I have a lot of that stuff. I think I have a problem. To secure the glitter, I painted a Liquitex gloss varnish layer on top of it. And there we go. Now back to sewing. I'm not sharing the sewing process today since I'm not sure if it's okay. I mean, it's not my pattern, so I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed watching the process anyway. As I stated in the beginning, Instagram has changed the algorithm. In my case, this change means that my content only reaches less than 20% of my followers, and the following has stayed basically the same for 4 weeks. It's tedious, but I love this hobby. Creating is so fulfilling. I do feel sympathy for the ones who suffer from this change economically and emotionally though. On an entirely another subject, now that I've finished my Candy Crusher, I'm going to start on my Halloween doll. There is going to be some heavy modding going on, I'm so excited. There ain't going to be any pastel pink going on. Hopefully, it will turn into a mix of Guillermo del Toro and H.R. Giger, hopefully. Just throwing those names out there makes me feel like a shrimp, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the stakes are high. I like comparing because sometimes you forget where you started and go like, okay. But I loved this change, and look at this dress! I'd want it in human size if I was cute and weren't always wearing black, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like her, but I can't figure it out if she's a hero or a villain. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and may the health be with you. Bye!